Sure.
We on?
Yep.
Welcome, everybody, and to our Planning and Heritage Committee meeting, Tuesday, August the 5th. Call the meeting to order. Do we have any declaration of conflicts today?
No.
Seeing none, can I have an approval of the agenda? Moved by Councillor McCabe and seconded by His Worship.
Just under new business, I want to bring up something under new business.
Certainly.
Okay.
Yep. Adoption of the minutes from our previous meeting on Tuesday, July 3rd.
Moved.
Moved by His Worship, seconded by Councillor McCabe. Any business arising from those minutes?
7 of 7, go to digital page 7. Introduction of new business. Residents of West Street, that the street be designated as a heritage street and could be followed up at the next committee meeting. And I don't know if that's somewhere in here, but just wanted to bring it to your attention, Donna, and through the chair to Donna. If there's anything, because I did speak to one of the residents of West Street and they did put in a form with, required to, legit. Did you ever receive it?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Worship.
I'll follow up on that. She said she did.
Yeah, they've also followed up with me and said that they did that
Yeah.
and that they had support of the entire street.
Okay.
Oh, good, thank you.
Okay, so we can move right along. Welcome, Councillor Beck. So we'll move right on to our reports and discussions. And our first discussion item is a contract award for the Heritage Conservation Bylaw Review and Update. And I believe that would be Donna.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the purpose of this report is to inform the Planning and Heritage Committee and subsequently the Finance Committee and Council of the outcome of the request for proposals RFP process for the review and update of the city's existing heritage preservation bylaw. So the city did put out an RFP on May 27th of this year and to solicit submissions for the review and update of our existing heritage preservation bylaw. Up to the date of closing, we received one submission. And the scope of the work that will be involved through this RFP is developing a comprehensive recommendation aimed at strengthening the bylaw's effectiveness in protecting and conserving the city's heritage resources. And in addition to that, the RFP would also cover regulatory review, best practices analysis, language and structural consistency, zoning and development coordination, demolition control framework, heritage streetscape identification, assessment criteria and regulatory processes, sustainable development integration, heritage incentive program review, and the temporary and permanent designation review of that process. So, as was stated previously, we've only received one submission to carry out this work. And so the staff from the Planning and Heritage Department did a comprehensive review. We also reached out to the proponent to seek clarification on several components, and we are satisfied that they have adequately addressed the project scope and they've demonstrated strong qualifications. With that said, the staff of the Planning and Heritage Department is recommending that the committee recommend to the Finance Committee and subsequently to Council that the bid submitted by Intra Studio in the amount of $150,000 plus HST be accepted for the review and update of the city's existing heritage preservation bylaw. And if you have any questions,
Thanks, Donna. Just to clarify, so the staff's recommendation is to recommend that the Planning and Heritage Committee recommend to move this on to the Finance Committee. And then the Finance Committee will subsequently move this on to Council. Any questions?
So, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think it is important that as we're moving into their zoning and development bylaw and stuff, it would be really good to have this heritage conservation bylaw protected.
Thank you, Councillor McKay.
Yeah, that's that's what I brought up about the official plan that we were just leaving, which was developed in 1999. It did have protection for the 500 lots in the official plan. And Donna was saying, I think it was Donna or Mike, that this would be covered in the zoning and development bylaw through this heritage conservation bylaw, correct?
Yeah, so there's a couple different pieces that all work together to protect our heritage resources. Obviously, we have the policy framework, which you're well aware of with the official plan. We have the zoning and development bylaw, which we have an existing document that's in the middle of being updated. And then we have our heritage bylaw as well, which really provides the regulatory framework for the designation of individual properties. And so what we're looking to do with this work is to update that framework specifically with the heritage bylaw so that we've got more tools in the toolbox to help preserve noted heritage resources throughout the community.
Okay.
Mike, was this bylaw identified as one of our top 10? Remember the ones that all the council are working on? I don't think it was it?
I don't recall offhand if this was identified. I believe we may have discussed it as being kind of part of our overall Housing Accelerator Fund work, and kind of consider that as part of the official plan and zoning bylaw work, because like I said before, all these pieces kind of work in conjunction with each other.
Okay.
I think it was also not just a 500 lot area, but we were talking about other areas of the city that, like, it's not uniquely 500 lot, it was other areas that were identified as potential areas, so it wasn't just a singular focus.
Don't know if there are areas, I think there are properties. Like if you could identify another area in the city, like think of the Brighton area,
No, I'm thinking of Alexander Drive.
that's not really heritage, that was post-war. It's construction.
Didn't it have kind of a special designation of some sort?
You know, some of the neighbors were asking for it. That's what was going on.
Would that be something that would fall under this in terms of looking at its heritage, not necessarily a number of years, but in terms of what it's.
Yeah, so the overall.
It would touch on, you know, it's not necessarily like 150 years old, but it could be an area of potentially historic significance.
So through you, Madam Chair, to Councillor Beck, yes, a comprehensive review will be done. And if there are streetscapes outside of the 500 lot area that the consultants believe, and through council's approval, that they should be heritage preservation streetscapes, then we will include them as well. So it's not just the 500 lot area that they will be concentrating on.
So if I could ask, Madam Chair, so if we identify Alexander Drive, I know there are properties around the city that have been identified as heritage properties, i.e. 476 Queen Street, which was almost torn down, demolished by a developer back in early 2000. And we recognize that as a heritage property. You know, you can recognize that Rogers Fairholme property, which is up on the corner of Prince and Fitzroy Street, that's a heritage property, but you know, the most vulnerable area is the 500 lots. And we've heard from, you know, the developer that, you know, we're too strict just in the official plan. But the official plan, again, is just the big vision. The real nuts and bolts of our official plan will come through in the zone and development bylaw. That's where it all will happen. So this will be incorporated part of it. So Intra-Studio, is it Intra-Studio Works? I'm just looking at LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Is that there?
Intra-Studio.
Based out in Halifax?
Yep.
Small company, 2 to 10 employees, okay. And they've done this work,
They've done similar work
okay,
in
for other
Canada.
municipalities?
Yes, HRM, and they've done some work in Italy as well. And they've also done some work that have gained UNESCO designation, so that's World Heritage designation, so they're pretty competent
Good.
at what they do.
And I would assume that, you know, if council eventually awards this contract, that the process would, of course, include in community engagement.
A big part of this
and
is.
not only just the community, but you know, the residents, the developers, the businesses, et cetera, to finding that healthy balance.
Yeah, so to add, Madam Chair, they also have a component in there where they will be talking to this committee before we go forward with any proposals.
So, Madam Chair, I'm sure that our manager of Heritage was part of this search also. Did our manager participate in some of these?
So just to clarify, Donna's the
Manager. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay, so our senior Heritage officer, was she, like, she's been with the city now for 20+ years. Is she part of the discussion?
Yes, so Todd is a part of the Heritage team and we've all looked at the proposal and we all feel that they're worthy of being given the chance to do this bylaw.
She's an architect by background.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Okay, moved by His Worship, seconded by Councillor McCabe, that we will accept staff's recommendation to move this on to the Finance Committee. Now, just to be clear, so we don't get into another discussion in the Finance Committee, this committee is agreeing to this proposal. The only thing Finance Committee will be asked to do is the money component of it, is that correct? Can we make sure that that's reflected in this so that we don't turn around and have the identical conversation with the Finance Committee when they're just approving the money? We've done the meat and the potatoes of it.
So I could just add 2 sentences, Madam Chair. So the request to bring this matter to the Finance Committee is due to the overall proposed budget, which exceeds the initial allocation after HST is added. However, discussions with the finance team have confirmed there is sufficient flexibility within the department's approved budget to reallocate funds from other line items to cover the additional costs. And that would be about $15,000. That's additional that will be needed to cover this work.
Great.
and if I could say, Madam Chair, under this whole due diligence of finance, will use another lens other than what we're using right now, which is the planning, development, and heritage lens. Finance will use the lens of financially, fiscally responsible, all the dots or all the checkpoints have been, or all the boxes have been checked off. That's really the purpose of going through this process, but yeah, I think it's good, looks good.
Okay, so all committee members are in favor of
Yep.
that? Answer that? Great. All right, we will move that on. Now, will this go to tomorrow's finance meeting? It will.
Yes.
So they must have to add it to the agenda later because the time is up.
They've added it already.
Oh, my, we're bold.
We just presume we're,
Okay, okay.
We're optimistic by nature.
see, that's good, that's
So the next,
a whole new era.
the next item would be Report B, appointment of Matt Mowry as the residential level building official. And I assume that is going, who's gonna talk about that? That's you, Shane,
me,
and
yeah.
welcome to our meeting.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Yep,
Happy to
over
be
to
here.
you, Shane.
All right, so the purpose of this report is to request that Matt Mowry, Building Inspector 1, in the Planning Department, be appointed as a building official with residential level qualification. And that's through the Building Code Act and regulations, the provincial legislation that comes up with those qualification levels. And specifically it's subsection 36 of those regulations. So staff recommends that the staff recommendation is that committee recommends to council that Matt Maurer be appointed as a building official with residential level qualification, allowing him to undertake all the duties and responsibilities that come with that qualification.
Great.
So, just some of the details and background, Matt was hired by the city of Charlottetown, November 14th of 2024 as a building inspector level 1. And since then, he's been enrolled with the Nova Scotia Building Officials Association their training program that qualifies building officials. PEI doesn't have an association that would do that, so typically staff would enroll in either Nova Scotia or New Brunswick's program. So Matt has been taking various courses and exams since November and has successfully completed all of the courses and exams under the residential portion of it. So on July 17th, Matt obtained the approval letter from the association confirming his qualification as a residential building official. So if he had worked in Nova Scotia, he would take that through his respective municipality, through council and appointment. Our Provincial Building Code Act and regulations stipulate that we don't have an association, but if someone wants to be qualified through the minister in PEI, they would have to have equivalent credentials or qualification from a recognized association like Nova Scotia. So Matt did receive that on July 17th. We sent it to the minister, Stephen Myers, last week, and he provided a letter, which we received on August 1st, where he confirms that Matt is eligible for appointment through municipal council. So that's great news. So here we are now, so we want to recommend the appointment through council, through the board here. So what this will do for Matt and the city, it will allow Matt to complete permit reviews, plan reviews for permit applications for 1 unit and 2 unit dwellings. That's a big bulk of our work right there, as well as accessory buildings to those types of dwellings, and decks too. So that's a big win for us, if he's appointed as a residential level official. It also allows him to take any action that a building official is authorized by the act to take in respect to those dwellings. So there's other details that a building official is permitted to do, and that's all listed under the Provincial Building Codes Act and regulations. This appointment's just another step in the city's efforts to increase our capacity within the building inspection team, to improve permit processing times for our customers and alleviate the workload for the 2 current building officials within that department, which would be me and Joseph Christians.
I just have a question, I'm not sure, Shane, if the question's for you or not. I'm just curious, most positions do not come to council except for the position of the CAO. So I'm wondering, is there something in our planning act that states that we have to take a hire that's done completely operationally but brought through to council? And why this and not every other position? I don't know who can answer that.
It's legislated that council must do this, and it's legislated under the Building Code Act and regulations, 36 subsection 36(1)(1), I think it is, so.
Great.
Yeah.
It's good to have that just on public record even, so I
Yes.
appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions for Shane or anybody
Chair,
else? Yes.
So is this under the Planning Act or under the Labor Act?
This would be, it's
Section
provincial, the Provincial Building Code Act and
Falls under
regulations. Yeah.
Is it?
I'm not sure where that falls under the hierarchy of legislation, but
Well, your inspectors work with the Department of Labor.
no.
Electrical inspectors, no?
Oh, sorry, the electrical inspectors do and the plumbing inspectors, yes.
Yeah.
And then they also have, for most of the other municipalities in PEI, other than Summerside, Stratford, and the city of Charlottetown, there's provincial building inspectors that
Falls under the Planning Act. Could we just
Sure.
follow up on that?
Yeah,
I think I know it's a legislative process. So residential level, are you a level 2, Shane?
yes,
So that's the highest level, when Joseph's gonna be level 2, right? He's the next
That's right, yeah, so the next report will be going through for Joseph. Matt, we're seeking residential level qualification, appointing as a residential level. For Joseph, we're going to be seeking, or we're hoping, we're gonna be recommending to council appointment as level 2, yes, which is the highest under the legislation that the province has.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking, Madam Chair, because residential level building official or level 2 building inspector, can you issue fines? Or can you issue,
We can, so if there's infractions to
Yeah.
the legislation and or the building code bylaw, there are fines that are stipulated, minimums and maximums. The other part that comes with the fines, I think, is sort of a summary offense
Right.
bylaw.
it wouldn't be indictable?
Yeah, so I think there's still work to do on the city's end in terms of getting maybe a summary offense bylaw
For these
procedure.
inspectors?
Procedure, yeah.
Okay, so
Now-
that wasn't covered under the dilapidated hazardous unsightly bylaw? No? Because that bylaw, our zoning development or zoning bylaw enforcement officer can issue summary tickets, can he not?
Through you, Madam Chair, so that would be under the enforcement and summary proceedings bylaw.
Right,
Yeah, that they
So
would be
would-
able to issue notices, yeah.
so would we put that under this residential and level 2 inspector under that bylaw that covers the unsightly, dangerous, dilapidated buildings?
Yeah, through the chair, it's a possibility, there might be some value to doing that. I'm not sure where that sits now. I don't believe we're listed under that bylaw.
No, I don't think you are.
No, so that's a possibility. We can look into that and report back on some more
And Shane, the only reason I say that, because given a warning ticket or a warning letter, it doesn't hold the impact that a fine would have. And that not only does that fine make the city the plaintiff, the person that's being fined is the defendant, so I only bring that up because we went through this with the dilapidated, unsightly and dangerous premises bylaw. And I notice here, Matt Murray, his letter signed by the Honorable Steve Myers, Minister of Land, Housing, Land and Communities, so does labor come under the, I'm not gonna ask that, I'll just leave that, I'll just let you look into where it
Yeah.
falls under.
Yeah.
And lastly, look, you get red seal approval, we get blue seal approval, so good to go.
Yeah, just through the chair, yeah, we try to give as much backup evidence and support for your recommendation, and the minister's letter is kind of that final redundancy there. So and just a point about fines, we've been fortunate that within Charlottetown, enforcement of the building code bylaw and the Provincial Building Code Act and regulations and the National Building Code for that matter, we've managed the issue of finding someone. It doesn't come up too often. There's other methods we have to ensure compliance, and doubling of the permit fees is something that's right in our bylaws, that's an effective tool that has financial implications. I think in the past, we've had to go to court for anything that was major, and I think that's a very rare occurrence. I've never had to deal with anything like that before, so I think it's very rare that these large fines would come into force, and I think, there's other methods to achieving the compliance, but that's something we can look into.
I look at it as just another tool in the
It's another
toolbox.
tool, yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. So staff is looking for the committee to recommend to council that we move this forward. Moved by Councillor Back, seconded by Councillor McCabe. Everyone in favor of that going on to council? That's great. And I guess Shane, you're up again. I know you've already alluded to Joseph's, but you could still, if you have anything else you wanted to summarize on his.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So the purpose of this report again is to request that Joseph Christians, Building Inspector 2, be appointed as a building official with level 2 qualification as per subsection 36 of the PEI Building Code Regulations. Staff recommendation, that committee recommends to council that Joseph Christians be appointed as a building official with level 2 qualification, allowing him to undertake all the duties and responsibilities that come with that qualification. So Joseph, everyone calls him Joe, so I'll use Joe going forward. Was hired by the city of Charlottetown on January 29th, 2024 in the role of building inspector 2. So in February 2024, Joe received a signed letter from the Minister of Housing, Land and Communities confirming that pursuant to subsection 37(3) of the Building Code Regulations, Joe possesses the necessary requirements to qualify for council appointment as a level 2 building official in the city of Charlottetown. This appointment will allow Joe to complete permit reviews, plans reviews, and conduct inspections for any building that's within the scope of the National Building Code. And as well as take any action that a building official is authorized by the Act to take in respect to any building that is within the scope of the National Building Code. And again, this appointment it will aid in improving the permit processing times and reduce the workloads for Matt and myself.
That's great. Thank you for that.
I'll move it.
Okay, moved by Councillor McCabe that we move this on to council for approval, and seconded by Councillor Beck. Any questions? Okay, everyone is in favor, we can move that right along, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the introduction of new business.
So this is something I've brought up, and I'll just bring it up, don't need to get any input or feedback yet. I know that Councillor McCabe and myself have received inquiries about the signage for Welcome to Charlottetown, City of Charlottetown, on the east side. Currently, it's at the, just on the east side of M&M Building Supply, M&M Furniture. And as you know, our boundary has moved to the corner of York Road, St. Peter's Road. So the sign should be there now. And we don't need, there's no need for a report right now, but I was told that this is where it should go through. And Public Works would do the work if we move the sign. It's a new boundary. We're moving out. Okay. Moving east, not west.
I also have an item for new business, if staff could maybe bring a report back next time around. And it's my understanding that the Planning and Heritage Department's bylaw officer has left and moved on to another position in another province, so we're now without that bylaw enforcement, and I'd been asking for an update, and maybe you could bring it back to committee next time since I hadn't heard back yet, so.
And in that, if we could add kind of what the steps will be in the
In
interim
the
while
short
we
term,
wait.
exactly, yeah. Yeah.
For planning bylaw infractions.
Unless somebody knows now. Anywho, I guess we're not gonna put anybody on the spot today, that's,
Well, yeah, Madam Chair, just to jump in here for a second, so this provides an opportunity, although we're sorry to lose Elizabeth, it provides an opportunity to look at the restructuring of our bylaws, so right now we're looking at that, because I think we all realize that bylaws is a growing and ever demanding issue within our municipality. So we want to make sure that we're looking at this opportunity in a forward-thinking stance, and we'll bring something back to committee soon.
and also something, what we're doing in the short term.
Yeah.
Great, because probably all of council would need to know about the short term, because those are usually the inquiries come in through to the councillors for the area if there's heritage planning, bylaw, zoning and development bylaw issues. Okay. Any other introduction of new business? Seeing none, a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Moved by Councillor McCabe and seconded by his worship. Thank you, everybody, and we'll start our planning board meeting in